be the first to welcome you inside the LA Convention Center. We're taking you a little walk through the NFL fan experience. Check it out. You get to run the 40-yard dash, kick a field goal, test yourself against the very best in the game. Their NFL Museum, you can check out game-worn jerseys, cleats, gear, the whole thing. Hey, find your favorite team, your favorite player. Go ahead and stand behind them and pretend you are that NFL star. We've got a big game ahead of us. Super Bowl 56 coming at you from SoFi Stadium on Sunday. Rams and Bengals. And what up, football fans? This is the week that we've waited for. Welcome to Radio Row here in Los Angeles, California. You are watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win Super Bowl style. Welcome in. I'm Lisa Kerney. The whole team is here on set together, getting you ready to bet Super Bowl 56. Rams and Bengals kicking off in just days from now. And here's the team. Give it up. We're doing the dang thing. We're getting you ready for all of it. We're breaking down the matchup, previewing some of the fun bets on the board as we've done all season long, guys. Plus, we've got some awesome special guests that are sitting just off stage waiting to get on here. They're dropping by the set. Chargers tight end Jared Cook, former Bills wide receiver, and Hall of Famer, of course, Andre Reed is here. Friend of the show, guys. Friend of the show, Andre back with us. What's up? We made it. We're here in LA. We're on Radio Row. We're together. Dave, you live in LA, but this is the big stage. How's it feel to be here?
This is big. And if I run the 40, pulled hamstring, minus 130, yes. I could, 5.8? What do you think?
Well, I got the belly blocker going, so I think you've slimmed down.
Yeah,
I think the
good.
digital shot we do
I'm going leg
adds
up.
pounds.
Yeah.
You look much better in person.
Welcome to LA, guys.
Thank you. Over under, will or will you not sweat through the back of your shirt running the 40-yard dash? That's the biggest
Not a big
question.
sweater. I'll take the under on
Okay.
that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Ed, you're also here living in LA, just not too far from here, but we have made the big stage. So here we are. We're going to kick this thing off. Before we dive into our analysis, a reminder that all of you can place your bets right now on the show. We're going to talk about all these bets. Go to the FanDuel Sportsbook app, and for all of our new users, sign up for your new account using that promo code right there. We'll remind you all show long. It's More Ways 1,000. Get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. All right, team, let's kick this thing off and break down this Super Bowl matchup, guys. We are in LA, just 10 miles from SoFi Stadium here, where the Rams are giving 4 points to the Bengals on Sunday. Keep this in mind, Cincinnati 7-0 against the spread in their last 7. I want to get everyone's play here, Dave, as we dig in on the spread. Rams giving 4 at SoFi on Sunday. How are you playing the Super Bowl?
You know, I think I've been on the Bengals for a lot of those 7 games that they've covered, but not this time. I just don't think they can keep up with Matt Stafford and the Rams defense. It's just going to be too much for Joe Burrow to handle. It's been a nightmare 3 years probably for Sean McVay to have to relive that first Super Bowl where 4 out of the first 5 drives, they went 3 and out. But you replaced Jared Goff with Matthew Stafford. The defense is, I think, much better this year than it was back there in the 2018 season. So even though the Bengals have been red hot, I'm taking the Rams, and I think they'll get the job done. But plus, I've been on them all year long, so I have to go.
I've waited 3 years to disagree with you in person.
You like
I can't.
the way you coached that game?
I can't.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Super Bowl.
I want to disagree with you. I mean, they only scored 3 points in that last Super Bowl, but it's the Jared Goff to Matt Stafford effect. And the 9 sacks that Cincinnati allowed to Tennessee, Cole, I got to go with the Rams in this one, -4.
Well, you got to shore up that offensive line play if you're Cincinnati, and I've been waiting for 2 years to sit next to you guys and agree, but right now I'm not able to do that because I'm going to have to go with Cincinnati. Winning close games, that's been their MO so far this season. And, well, when it comes to the Rams, they've had 8 games so far this season, playoffs included, that have been by 2 scores or greater. So in close games, it's all about Cincinnati. So I think Cincinnati's going to take this one. It's going to be a close shave, and I'm going to let you know exactly how close it'll be in just a second.
Well, first off, I'm over on that 40 time for Dave because his ego is so
Did you run
heavy
the
right
analytics
now.
on it?
I did.
Time to do
I
that?
did, absolutely. No, we're well over 6.5 seconds at this point because his ego is so heavy. We're looking at a 400-pound, entity go down the field.
Trust the models. Always trust the models.
All the data is there. Here's the thing, though. There is a defensive disparity in this game that matters a lot. When you look at the Rams' pass defense and run defense, both have been in the top 7 in football. when you filter out the randomness and volatility of turnovers and things like that. Joe Burrow has not faced a challenge like this before. Jalen Ramsey's going to be special. The two high safety looks, the disguise looks that the Rams do defensively. All of these challenges are going to be things that Joe Burrow has not seen before, so I'm laying the points.
Dave, you talk about being on the Rams all season long. Real leap of faith there when they had the fourth shortest odds to start the season. It was a month ago if you got on the Rams at 18-1 odds when they took a dip there. So anyhow, we're going to talk
We're
about
like 8th choice to begin, not 4th.
Okay, that is fair. You guys, we just talked about a lot of the offense for both of these teams. Ed referenced the defense as well. Let's take a look at the total now. It is still sitting at 48.5. Bengals averaging 24 points per game this postseason. The under 27-10-1 in the Rams' last 38 games as the favorite. That's what we're looking at on Sunday. Pony, you're starting us off here. How are you playing the total?
Well, I'm going to go over. I think if you look at the championship games, some things happened that caused both of those games to go over. There was a red zone interception to start the Rams 49ers game. You had the debacle at the end of the first half of the Chiefs Bengals game. So I see that as a very low under. I like to create scores in my head, Cole. 28-21 sounds about right, and that gets you over.
Okay, well, I like to create
barely
in my head as well. And if you take a look at the last 6 games, the Rams averaging just under 27 points per game, and the Bengals just a shade over 27. So I'm no mathematician like our guy E-Double over here, but when you put the numbers together, it looks as if it could maybe even go over 50. I have it coming in right at 51. I'm going 27-24 Cincinnati Bengals. It's going to be all over WKRP. They'll be going nuts.
There's the reference where we've been.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need something like for that younger target demographic,
exactly.
Like WKRP.
That's where turkeys can fly.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm going with over in this one as well because here's a hot take. Cooper Kupp may be having the best season any receiver has ever had in football.
No way, really?
No, the numbers certainly back this up, and I feel like this is one more opportunity for him to showcase what he can do. And, certainly we'll talk about his prop in a bit, but here is someone who, regardless of it's obvious who the ball is going to in this particular situation, he's still able to do this. And now he's going to get this incredible matchup, and I still feel like he's going to be able to shine. And so the Bengals will have to play catch-up. They will have to pass a lot more to keep up with the Rams, and that leads to an over for me.
All right, we're going to talk props in just a minute, but I'm still stuck on WKRP in Cincinnati. I don't need a copyright infringement. I don't even care. I just did it. Hey, bettors, if you prefer a simple money line bet, you know what to do. FanDuel is hooking you up with a crazy odds boost. Check it out. Our guys are going to put the graphic up for you. It's Super Bowl 56. So new users making their first sportsbook wager will get 56-1 odds, up to $5 on that moneyline bet for this Super Bowl. That's right, a winning $5 wager means you'll win $280 in cash. It is that simple. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, sign up for your new account, place a moneyline wager on the Super Bowl. That is just picking the team that's going to win, and take advantage of this 56-1 odds promotion going on right now. Again, it's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. I teased it. I have to deliver. It is player prop time, and we just talked about Cooper Kupp, so I'm going to go right there, and I'm going to start with you, Ed, because Cooper Kupp over or under 105.5 receiving yards on Sunday against these Bengals.
I have it as a sharp line, but I'm going slightly over that, in large part because what makes him so special and what made Matt Stafford so special this season is what they've done against the blitz. Cooper Kupp has been targeted about as much as any receiver whenever a defense throws that fifth rusher out there. And even though the Bengals have a lower blitz rate than most teams in football, at some point they will throw a fifth rusher out there. And because of that, Stafford is going to make them pay with Cooper Kupp over the top.
He's hit this number 13 out of 20 games this year, including postseason and regular season. And I've been saying it the last few weeks when he keeps hitting that number, 325 yards the last 2 weeks combined. But he can either get those quick 10-yard catches or a 50-yard bomb. I mean, either way, it just adds up so quick.
All right, Pony, I'm going to come to you with Bengals wide receiver. Let's talk about Jamar Chase. Over or under 28.5 yards for his longest reception against the Rams.
All right, so if this was September, I'd go over, because he did it in every game the first month of the season. And then the last few weeks, I think only one of the last 4 games he's hit that. He's got Jalen Ramsey on him. So I don't think it's going to be a volume day for Chase, but I do think he can hit one big play So I'm going to take the over.
And Jalen Ramsey's sneaky big for those who have never seen that young man in person. But either way, when it
Have
comes
you?
to, I have. He's barrel-chested from front to back. One of the biggest dudes you want to see. That's listed right at about 6'2". But when it comes to Jamar Chase, has 7 touchdowns this year on deep passes. I think once again this year we're going to see him go big. He's the only rookie with multiple 100-yard receiving games so far in the playoffs. So I'm going to go with the over when it comes to receiving totals.
This
All right,
is
we
a
got
deke
one-
and dunk game for me, so I'm going under.
You're going to, okay.
Yeah.
We have one more prop here before we move on, and we are going to come back to props a little bit later in the show. But, Dave, I want to give you Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow. We got it over under 276.5 passing yards on Sunday.
He didn't hit that number against the Chiefs because, surprisingly, they were winning in the fourth quarter, and he was
Which you
able to slow
predicted.
it down. Right, but in this particular game,
Right.
I think he's in chase mode, and I think he's going to get those yards in the fourth quarter that puts him over.
It almost seems too easy, doesn't it? I mean, in the last 3 in the playoff games, he's had 35 pass attempts or more. So if he does that again, which I think he will because they'll be behind, I think he goes over.
Yeah, he's had 9 games, though, this season, playoffs included, where he's gone over 276.5. So I think why not make it a nice little number for the Roman numeral crowd. Give it an X. Number 10 comes on Sunday for Joe Burrow.
I like the under here in large part because I think this is going to be a short average depth of target game, and he will probably run a little bit more. And also, too, the fourth down aggressiveness for the Bengals really isn't there. So I feel like this is not going to be the same kind of game where he's going to have a ton of dropbacks.
All right, you guys, that's some player props. We're going to get to game props a little bit later in the show. A little heads up for you guys. But right now, we've got to move on because plenty more coming up, including Chargers tight end Jared Cook joining us right here on our FanDuel set in just a couple of minutes. You do not want to miss that. But first, we're going to give our DFS players a little love here. Yep, we're stacking your roster to help you win cash. FanDuel's hooking up our fans with millions in prizes for free. We've been doing it all season long. I hope you've been taking advantage on FanDuel.com. Sign up for the Super Bowl DFS contest. Set your roster, play, and win. Of course, our job is to help you secure the points. We're taking you behind the scenes here. Everybody's moving around. But we want to turn to senior writer and editor for Number Fire, Jim Sonis. Jim, give us your Super Bowl stud plays. What you got?
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, the fun thing about the Super Bowl 56 is that we know where the ball is going on both sides, which means we can have some fun with these studs. And to me, that does start with Joe Mixon at $12,500. I think he's a bit undersalaried at that mark, mostly because of what he does near the goal line. In the full games Mixon has played this year, he has 46% of the team's red zone carries or targets. So when the Bengals get close, they go to Mixon. That's good for him, especially given a pretty nice passing game role he has had throughout these high leverage games. I also like his quarterback, Joe Burrow, checking in at $15,000. Burrow has shown that when they give him passing volume in this offense, he can come through. There is some risk here for sure because the Rams defensive line is very good. That could increase the number of sacks, interceptions, etc. But Burrow has shown that he can come through even in tough spots. I do like Burrow at $15,000 as a discount from Matthew Stafford. Speaking of Stafford, I want to get most of Stafford's production by using his wide receiver Cooper Kupp, who checks in at $16,000. If you use Cooper Kupp, you're effectively getting a lot of the passing points that Matthew Stafford would get you without having to roster Stafford. So Cooper Kupp checks in at $16,000. We know he's going to be the go-to guy for this Rams offense. If Tyler Higbee can't go, we may see even more targets go Cooper Kupp's way. He's been absurdly consistent this year with a high ceiling as well. That's hard to replicate on any slate, especially a single game one. So to me, I think those are the three studs I'm focusing on most in order to get the large share of the production from both of these two high-powered offenses.
Biggest game, that's all I want, is the large share production. Thank you, Jim. There you have it. Go to FanDuel.com, sign up for free DFS competitions right now. Of course, use Jim's information for a chance to win millions in prizes. Follow our guru on Twitter, at Jim Sonis, Twitter and Instagram as well. Also hit up his podcast, the Heat Check Fantasy Podcast, on Apple Podcasts. Thanks, Jim. Always great to have you on the show. And now, I tease it, we deliver. I want to bring in a special guest to the More Ways to Win set. Chargers tight end Jared Cook. Give it up, everybody. Woo! It's awesome having the two-time Pro Bowler on this show. Hey, Jared, thanks for being here.
I appreciate you having me.
I would say welcome to LA, but you're here. This is what you do. What does it feel like to be a part of Super Bowl week leading up to it, hanging with all us media crazies?
Man, it's awesome. Super Bowl week's always a great time. So many events. so many social activities that you can get involved in, and what's better than a game on Sunday to finish off a great week?
You know, I'm going to ask you to pick the game on Sunday. Tell us who's going to win the game. Maybe I'll even press you for, like, by how many points. But, you know, I'll feel it out. We got lots to do.
I mean, I thought I was impressed by your pass catching. Your voice is blowing me away.
Yeah.
My goodness. Unreal. It's a baritone over here.
Take Pony's job in a little bit.
Your quarterback, Herbert, the qualities he has, the skills he has to play in a game like this, he's not that far away, is he?
No, I don't think so. Just very instinctual, very smart quarterback, very strong and big quarterback. Reminds you a lot of a little bit mix of Chris Sims, Ben Roethlisberger, and you know, a few.
Now you're
other,
speaking my language with Roethlisberger. Oh yeah.
A few other Hall of Fame quarterbacks that are out there, and he can just ball. He can do it all, and I think he's a few years away from taking his team where it needs to be.
Jared, I got a question for you, because before you were catching balls from Herbert, you also played with Aaron Rodgers. You played with Drew Brees as well. When you look at that young quarterback against these more established elite quarterbacks, what comparisons do you see between him and those guys?
Just his understanding to be able to grasp a difficult playbook, to be able to go out there and lead a team, and to be able to convert when you need him to convert and stay on the field and make drives happen. It's very far and few in between that you find young quarterbacks that are able to do that in the league and be able to do that for years. It's his second year, and he's already, you know, lighting the league up by storm with the plays that he's making on the field. So I think he has a great chance to continue to be able to do that in the future Hall of Famer for real.
Yeah, and Jared, in year two, Justin Herbert is showing all those leadership qualities that you want to see from a quarterback. And for you, as you dip your toes into those free agency waters, what's the ideal situation? Is it maybe somewhere else to stay a Charger and continue to see what can grow with you and Justin?
You know, I'm not sure. We're going to see what this free agency brings. I'd like to be with a veteran quarterback. You know, somebody who understands the game and brings kind of a veteran feel to the locker room and veteran presence, and just a locker room that'll be lucky to have me. So just kind of seeing where things go and proceed as we do.
When it came to this season, I think one of the bigger storylines for the Chargers was how often you guys went for it on fourth down. Talk about the idea of being so aggressive on fourth down, and if it worked out or it didn't work out, what was the mood on the sideline like, given that it is a little unorthodox?
You know, we started going for it early in the season. So we kind of understood the feel of what coach was trying to do, and we understood completely every time we stepped on the field. If we were in a gotta-have-it situation, then it's on us to be able to pull that off. You know, sometimes it didn't work out as planned, but, you know, you got to go with what the coach has called. And I completely understand not putting us, you know, maybe not kicking field goals and maybe not getting points to be able to go for it on a fourth and short or a third and short. But a lot of times those situations did pan out for us. More towards at the beginning of the season, it really panned out for us well. But towards the end, we started converting less and less. So, you know, those are tough situations to put your team in, but we did the best we could with what was called and went out there and ran the play.
All right, Jared, take us back to Week 13. You know what I'm talking about. You beat the Bengals in Week 13.
Mm-hmm.
What's the blueprint to beat them?
You just got to stay on top of their receivers. I think we saw it a little bit in the AFC Championship game. How they took Jay Moore out of the game a little bit, especially in that first half. I think that's something that they're going to have to focus on, taking their key playmakers out of the game and find a way to contain Burrow, man. He's playing lights out right now, playing really good football, finding his receivers down the field and making plays with his legs. So I feel like you got to contain him first and foremost.
All right, which team in quarterback do you think utilizes your position, the tight end, better, Bengals or Rams?
I feel like the Bengals do. I feel like Uzama's been with the Bengals for a minute, and I feel like this has really been a year that he's stepped out of his comfort and they've used him to his ability, and he's blowing up.
All right, let's get back to the Bolts, because Herm Edwards once upon a time said, hello, you play to win the game. In Week 18, Sunday Night Football, we know how everything went down. You could have played for the tie to try to get yourselves into the postseason, but are there any regrets there? Do you wish you would have played for that tie?
That comes back kind of down to the fourth quarter, the conversions and going for it on late downs. You know, you go with what's called. You know, you saw that they were kind of trying to run the clock out and maybe do it, but that third down, that third and long, it was kind of a little questionable what they were going to do, and then we called the timeout. And then, I think Vegas kind of took it for, okay, it is what it is. Let's just go ahead and get this first and kick it. I wish we would have played for a tie.
Yeah.
It's always something you want to do to be able to play in postseason. I think it says a lot about your team and the players that you have around you. So it stunk that we didn't get a chance to, but that's just what it's called. That's how the game played out.
When you took on the Bengals, obviously they were in a certain state, but when you watch them in the playoffs, are they drastically different than what we saw in the regular season?
I think they're a little bit different. I think they know what type of momentum they have behind them. And I think it's such an amazing story with how many years they've been to the playoffs and had their first playoff win and everything that's going on with Joe Burrow in his first year coming off a national championship. I think it's an incredible story for them to be able to capitalize on it. And I think that's been huge momentum for them moving forward.
All right, Jared, now I got to ask you, Super Bowl 56 on Sunday. Who's winning, Rams or Bengals?
That's a tough one for me. I'm a former Ram. Would love to see quite a few of those guys winning, but I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think it's a great story, and I hope those guys go out there and do it.
All right, before I let you go, because I told you I was not going to let you offset until I asked you about your chef skills. If you look at it, if you look up his Instagram, he's got a tab up there that says chef, and that looks pretty good. What's your go-to dish?
Man, I'm a big breakfast guy.
Okay.
I love breakfast all times of the day.
Yes.
You can't go wrong with it. Can't mess it up too much. I'm not a great cook, but that's what I do. That's what I specialize in.
Your little man loves it. I can tell from that Instagram. Jared Cook, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Two-time
Jared.
Pro Bowl tight end of the
Thank you,
Los
Jared.
Angeles Chargers. Appreciate you joining us and being here for Super Bowl 56. Some great insight certainly there from Jared Cook. We have another great guest coming up later here on More Ways to Win. Former Bills wide receiver and Pro Bowl Hall of Famer Andre Reed joining us here on set. Of course, he went to 4 Super Bowls, so we'll ask him about his experience and what advice he has for players going to this year's big game. Plus, we'll ask him to break down the receiving core for both teams and tell us which side has the advantage. And I'll be getting his Super Bowl pick as well. That's former Bills wideout Andre Reed coming up on More Ways to Win in just a few moments. And I told you we're going to keep the prop party rolling. We're going to look at some fun game props available for you. We did the player props earlier. Now we're going to get into those game props. Again, it's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Use that promo code. It's on the bottom of your screen, the whole show. More Ways 1000. Dave and Pony, I'm going to start with you first here. Largest lead of the game, over or under 14.5 points. Pony, I'm going to start with you.
All right, I'm going to go over 14.5. We've seen some games, the Bengals, they get down big, they fight back. The Rams were down double digits against the Niners. This has been such a weird, freakish NFL playoffs, and I just think that trend's going to continue.
But if that's the trend, haven't all these games been close? Well, maybe they've been close at the end,
get close
but
late.
the Rams can open up a big lead. I think there will be maybe a 17, 21-point gap. I'm going to say over as well.
All right, you guys. It's been the most wacky playoffs I've ever seen in my life. That Chiefs-Bills game, don't get me started. All right, Ed and Cole, you guys are up now. I want to get to the shortest touchdown scored, over or under 1.5 yards. Ed, you first.
Well, I'm going over here in large part because Matt Stafford is not that much of a runner. He doesn't take off very much, and so that's part of it. The other thing, too, is these are not two teams that are aggressive on fourth downs, and so if it gets to a 4th and goal situation from the 2 or the 1, I would not be surprised if they go ahead and take the points, which will aggravate me as the data scientist here, but I still think that's probably the route.
Well, when it comes to data and analytics, I think you'd be very appreciative of the fact that we're not going to have any flashbacks to Super Bowl 9 or Super Bowl 17, no block
Thank
punts
goodness.
in the end zone. So I'm going to have to side with you. I'm going to go with the over. Everyone that's going to score, they're going to do it from, more than 1.5 yards out. That's what I'm saying.
Takes one PI and they both lose. PI at the 1, you guys lose.
Okay.
There it is.
It's fine.
We'll see.
It's fine.
Come on, refs,
Right?
help us out.
I'm getting the TV speak producer rapping me in the ear, but I want to get to this. Coin toss. Let's do the coin toss. Opening coin toss, heads or tails. Dave, start us off.
Imaginary coin. Tails! I always bet
I think everyone says tails never fail, so I'm going to go heads. I'm a contrarian. You know that.
You're
Okay.
Always.
I'm going heads. I'm siding with Pony, man.
Who's flipping the coin anyway? That matters in terms
Fred
of the
Flintstone.
physics. Fred Flintstone?
Yeah, double.
Okay, then it
double.
won't flip
No
at all.
win,
Then.
no
Heads
win
it
this
is.
year.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have models to break that down, by
Of
the way.
course
Who
I do.
flips it and then
Yeah.
the percentages for each guy. All right.
Wind resistance.
Great stuff, guys. Of course, there are hundreds of fun game and player prop bets right now for you on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You can check them all out right now, but if you prefer a simple money line bet, we got you. FanDuel's hooking you up with a crazy odds boost. Check this out. It is Super Bowl 56, so you know how we roll. New users making their first sportsbook wager will get 56-1 odds, up to $5 on a moneyline bet for this Super Bowl. That's right. A winning $5 wager means you will win $280 in cash. It's that simple. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You can do it right now. Do it from your phone. Sign up for your new account. Place that moneyline wager on the Super Bowl kick. Of course, a moneyline wager means you are just picking who's going to win the game. You can do that. You take advantage of the 56-1 odds promotion going on right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. All right, let's keep this thing going by bringing on a Pro Football Hall of Famer, wide receiver, onto the set here. Former Bills wideout Andre Reed is in-house. Thanks so much for joining us, my man. It's so good to see you in person.
Good to see you. I made it. Not too far. I live in San Diego, so it's no big deal.
You made it, but you were on
man.
you were on the show earlier in the season. Love
Yeah.
having you on.
Yeah.
Gave us a lot of insight and context into your Bills. I
Yeah.
want to talk to you about them as well, but I want to give you some props first because Andre had more than 950 receptions, more than 13,000 yards receiving in 16 years in the league. Of course, went to 4 straight Super Bowls with the Bills. So you are our perfect guest to be on this show. I'm going to get your insight. I'm going to get your pick. But lots to dig into here. So we're going to get right to it. In the week leading up to the Super Bowl, this is what we do. We pick their brains. Just a few days away. What are these players experiencing? What are they feeling as they lead up to the biggest game of their lives?
Well, a lot of them, it's the first time. And when they say, oh, it's just a regular game, really, it isn't. Back in 1990, my first Super Bowl playing the Giants, media wasn't like it is now. And it was a lot to handle. Besides family coming in, you got tickets, you got a lot of stuff going on in your head. But I think this week, both those coaches know that this is football, and we have to get back to business, what we do. And it'll be a feel-good story for both teams. You know, Joe Burrow, hometown guy, Ohio guy, it would be great for him to win. And obviously Matthew Stafford is what he's done this year. Being in Detroit and all the bad things that went on in Detroit, it'd be a great thing for them too, and the Rams.
Hey, Andre, speaking of the hometown thing,
Yeah.
do you think the Rams,
Yeah, oh
do
yeah.
you think being at home helps them in this game?
No doubt about it. I mean, there's going to be fans all over the place, you know, from both teams, but playing in their home stadium just like Tampa did last
So
year.
the routine's going to help them.
It will. It definitely will. They'll feel good about just being there and knowing that it's their stadium and it's their field, and that'll be you got to get every advantage you can in this game, and that's going to be a good advantage for them.
I want to talk about being the number one receiver because we've got 2 teams in this contest where there are obvious number one receivers. How is it that, talent obviously matters, but play design matters as well? How do you keep these offenses unpredictable like you guys were able to do in Buffalo, to where you were still able to get the ball, but they were doing it in creative ways?
Yeah, well, with the Rams, you know, Cooper Kupp's had a great season. There's no doubt about it. He's the go-to guy. Odell has come through, has played well in the last couple games, especially in the playoffs. That was a great move for them to get Odell, and that could be the X factor in the game coming up on Sunday. And then for Bengals, I mean, they got everybody's under 25 years old. That's a skill guy. You know, Higgins and Jamar Chase, and you got Tyler Boyd. But one thing about these games, man, defense, they say, wins championships. And it's all about one mistake and who can make that mistake the difference in the game. It could be defense, but obviously both teams are got very much firepower on offense.
Andre, I wish we had more time, but before we run,
Yeah.
I got to ask you very quickly, who's going to win the game? We have 20 seconds to go.
Oh, man.
Put you on the spot, Andre.
20 seconds. Well, I'm going to go with the hometown team, I guess, with the Rams. I got a lot of friends on the Rams, so I want the Rams to win.
There it is. Andre Reed, I want to thank Jared Cook and everybody behind the scenes here at FanDuel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.